Right now on Good Morning America First Look, tense moments as Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg takes the stand at the social media addiction trial. And now word that President Trump might be open to potential new limits on social media.
Two midair scares, an engine failure on this JetBlue flight, smoke in the cockpit, what passengers heard. And on this Delta flight, how passengers responded when a man allegedly tried to access the cockpit.
The Avalanche disaster in California. 8 skiers killed. Now we're learning most of the victims were mothers.
New indications that a U.S. attack on Iran may be looming. What satellite images reveal about Iran's nuclear program.
A terrifying crash into this preschool. The charges the driver now faces.
The inspiring message from Olympic gold medalist Michaela Schifrin about overcoming the loss of a parent.
A war of words over Reese's peanut butter cups. The grandson of the candy's inventor accuses Hershey of changing the recipe. The company now responding.
And should the wealthy pay higher taxes? The issue now dividing Democrats.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America First Look.
Good Thursday morning, everyone. I'm Sophie Flay.
And I'm Hannah Batal. We begin with the growing pressure to regulate social media companies to protect children. There's word this morning that President Trump might be open to the idea.
Meanwhile, Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg took the stand at a trial over whether social media apps are addictive. Here's ABC's Lionel Moise.
Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg was grilled for nearly 8 hours in a landmark trial over claims that Instagram is designed to be addictive for kids and teens. During the sometimes tense exchanges in a Los Angeles courtroom, Zuckerberg defended the app's restrictions, which ban users under 13, but he acknowledged, "I always wish we could have gotten there sooner." And he pointed to challenges, saying the company has acknowledged for a while that people get around the age restrictions. The lawsuit was brought by a now 20-year-old woman known as Kelly, who says she started using the app when she was 10. She claims features like auto-scrolling got her hooked, leading to anxiety, depression, and body image issues. But Meta insists the evidence will show she faced many significant, difficult challenges well before she ever used social media.
The hardest thing still now is the quiet in the house.
Tammy Rodriguez was one of the many parents in court for Zuckerberg's testimony. She says her daughter was obsessed with social media and became depressed before dying by suicide at age 11.
Selena was so much more than her ending, and that's what I want people to remember.
The state of New Mexico is bringing a similar lawsuit against Meta, claiming its algorithms expose kids to addictive and harmful content.
Meta has created a breeding ground for predatory behavior. And it's not just something that is impacting communities and educators, but really vulnerable children who have no idea exactly how dangerous these spaces are.
Meta denies those claims and says prosecutors are taking a, quote, sensationalist approach. Meanwhile, as countries like Australia and France move to ban young people from social media, the issue is apparently getting attention in the White House. President Trump's daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, says the president has taken an interest in exploring potential age limits.
I've certainly told him where I stand on it, and I think it's something that he's taking an interest in. I do think it's something that he's looking into and at least educating himself on to make a decision.
As for the lawsuit in LA, Zuckerberg spoke about taking steps to address users' well-being, saying no product is perfect, and we want to continuously improve to make it better. Hannah, Sophie.
Lionel, thank you. The other big story this morning, a midair scare on a passenger plane leaving the New York City area last night.
New images overnight inside this JetBlue flight after an apparent engine failure filled the cabin with smoke, forcing an emergency landing.
We're still going up in the air and we start smelling in the cabin. It smells a little like smoke. My husband and I saw what looked like maybe a flash at the same time as that bang.
The plane, headed to West Palm Beach, immediately turned back to Newark, New Jersey, forcing a ground stop at the airport.
We got smoke in the back. We're going to have to be evacuating here in a second.
The pilot came on and gave an announcement saying, I heard a pop in the engine. We're going to turn around. We're going back to Newark.
Passengers then evacuating on the emergency slides. No serious injuries were reported. A different kind of scare on this Delta flight. Moments after taking off from Houston to Atlanta, passengers and crew were forced to take action.
We had a passenger get up and try to access the cockpit.
One man was reportedly looking to break into the cockpit and began attacking other passengers.
He stumbled to the back and just started punching everybody.
Multiple people subdued him, holding him down while the plane flew back to Houston.
They had to sit on him, and we had to turn the plane around and go back.
He was escorted off the plane with zip ties. Unruly passenger incidents have been dropping recently, but remain above pre-pandemic levels, with fines topping $40,000 per violation.
We see videos like this all the time, people going crazy on planes, but I just never thought that I would be witnessing this.
Police later confirmed the passenger appeared to be suffering from a mental health crisis.
New details overnight about the 8 skiers killed in Tuesday's avalanche disaster near Lake Tahoe. The group was made up of mostly mothers from Mill Valley, California, whose children attend the same school. A 9th skier is still missing. It's the deadliest ski-related avalanche in U.S. history. ABC's Trevor Alt spoke to the sheriff.
There were significant warnings about this storm, forecasts of it, highways shut down, other ski resorts were closed. Would these guides have known they were potentially leading this group into a deadly situation?
Those are all questions that we're asking and appreciate the patience while we get through this and investigate the totality. Not just so that we know, but so these families know.
The remains of the victims have not been recovered because of the dangerous conditions. Meanwhile, extreme weather in Wyoming is blamed for multiple crashes involving more than 24 vehicles on Interstate 80, which was closed for hours. Meanwhile, a 5th person has died after this highway pileup in Colorado, which was blamed on blowing dirt.
New signs this morning that a U.S. military attack on Iran may be looming. Comes as President Trump convenes his new Board of Peace today. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has the details. Nicole, good morning.
Yeah, Hannah, good morning to you. Time may be running out for Iran as the U.S. builds up military assets in the region, preparing for a possible strike unless a long-shot diplomatic solution can be found. This morning, these new satellite images show Iran appearing to be digging in, hardening its sensitive military and nuclear sites in anticipation of a potential U.S. military strike.
I don't think they want the consequences of not making a deal.
As the world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, sails to the Middle East to join the USS Abraham Lincoln, we're learning the strike group is larger than first reported, accompanied by 5 destroyers. Each warship able to shoot down incoming missiles and launch their own as far as 1,000 miles. And 12 F-35 stealth fighters, believed to be the same used in the raid to capture Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, have been tracked, heading to bases in the Middle East.
Iran would be very wise to make a deal with President Trump and with this administration.
President Trump has demanded Iran abandon its nuclear program. Iran's president says his country is not seeking nuclear weapons, but insists on using nuclear technology for other industries. Iran claimed progress was made at nuclear talks with the U.S. this week, but Vice President J.D. Vance says Tehran is still refusing to respect President Trump's red lines.
In some ways it went well. They agreed to meet afterwards, but in other ways it was very clear that the president has set some red lines that the Iranians are not yet willing to actually acknowledge and work through.
Meanwhile, President Trump's newly formed Board of Peace meets today in Washington to discuss global stability. The board includes members from several Mideast countries, along with Hungary and even Belarus. Several U.S. allies in Europe have declined an invitation, critics claiming the board could undermine the mission of the United Nations. And also declining an invitation to join the Board of Peace, Pope Leo, and also the Vatican. Sophie?
Thank you. The reward in the search for Nancy Guthrie has now doubled to $200,000. Investigators are analyzing partial DNA found inside her home. They're looking at genetic genealogy. Private labs can help track down suspects by providing more DNA information than the FBI.
You have a lot of markers, then what you're able to do is to make these precise measurements. You're a second or third cousin. And if you know who those folks are, then you can use public records and family trees to essentially reverse engineer the identity of the source for that evidentiary DNA.
The same DNA technology that helped catch the so-called Golden State Killer in 2018 is now being used in the Guthrie case.
A frightening scene in Sacramento. 2 construction workers were stranded after their scaffolding broke down. They were left dangling off this building 8 stories up. Emergency crews eventually got to the roof and harnessed them, bringing them down to safety.
Scary stuff. Dry conditions and strong winds are fueling wildfires from Texas to Kansas. The Ranger Road fire has now burned more than 283,000 acres in Oklahoma and Kansas, nearly twice the size of Chicago. Now let's check your Thursday forecast.
Good morning. More rain and mountain snow in the west, spreading from Northern California into Southern California this morning, then more snow going into the Rockies. It's kind of the last wave and snow through Friday and then a break over the weekend. But some of that energy making it into the Ohio Valley with severe storms from Indianapolis to Cincinnati during the afternoon hours, rain in the mid-Atlantic. It's a rainy Friday in the Northeast, could be some snow to the north. And then we watch that storm track potentially right off the East Coast on Sunday into Monday. Looks like more of a glancing blow. We'll keep you posted on the storm track. I'm meteorologist Lee Goldberg. That's your forecast.
Coming up, the decision to ban people who are HIV positive from joining the military.
But first, a terrifying crash into a preschool. The charges that driver now faces.
And should the wealthy pay higher taxes? The issue dividing Democrats. We're back with some disturbing video from New Jersey, but thankfully everyone is okay. Police say a drunk driver crashed into this preschool. The video, first obtained by News 12 New Jersey, shows a woman and her sons barely escaping. Police are now reviewing that video.
Now to a growing debate across the country. Should the rich be forced to pay higher taxes? It's one issue dividing even politicians in the same party.
This morning, a proposed tax on billionaires is turning some Democrats against each other. Senator Bernie Sanders rallying supporters last night in Los Angeles, arguing it's time the ultra-rich pay more.
Never before in American history have we seen the outrageous level of income and wealth inequality we see today.
But California Governor Gavin Newsom is pushing back on the proposal in his state, saying the initiative will drive away the wealth and businesses that keep the state economy strong.
The impact of a one-time tax does not solve an ongoing structural challenge. You would have a windfall one time, and then over the years, you would see a significant reduction in taxes because taxpayers will move.
The one-time 5% tax was proposed by one of California's healthcare unions. It says the money is necessary to prevent a collapse of the state's healthcare system and fund other public services cut by the Trump administration. There's a similar debate across the country in New York City, where Mayor Zohran Mamdani says property taxes could jump by nearly 10%, unless the governor agrees to raise taxes on people earning more than $1 million a year or corporations. He claims it's the only way to close a growing budget gap.
The onus for resolving this crisis should not be placed on the backs of working and middle-class New Yorkers.
Meanwhile, one of President Trump's economic advisors predicts Americans will be getting some relief this tax season, thanks to Trump's policies. IRS data shows average refunds are up nearly 11% so far this year.
When they get their big tax refund, I think that they'll see that their wallets are doing great at the same time that prices are stabilizing. I think that the economic story is very, very positive.
As for the billionaire tax proposal in California, it needs nearly 900,000 signatures to qualify for the state ballot.
An appeals court has upheld the U.S. military's policy of banning people who are living with HIV from enlisting. The court rejected claims that advances in medical science make the ban unnecessary. The judges cited the military's need to have fit service members without complications from medical conditions.
Coming up, a tribute to her dad. The inspiring message from Olympic gold medal winner Michaela Schifrin.
You're not going to want to miss it. Also had officers described rescuing this bald eagle in trouble on the Hudson.
Back now with the U.S. men's hockey team winning in overtime against Sweden, advancing to the Olympic semifinals against Slovakia tomorrow. But first, it's the U.S. women's hockey team facing Canada today for that gold medal. And speaking of gold medals, U.S. skier Michaela Schifrin just won the third of her Olympic career. She won the slalom yesterday, and it's her first gold since the death of her father.
Everything in life that you do after you lose someone you love is like a new experience. I don't want to be in life without my dad. Maybe today was the first time that I could actually accept this, like reality. And instead of thinking I would be going in this moment without him, to take the moment to be silent with him.
Schifrin is 30. She holds the title of youngest and oldest U.S. women's skier to win gold. Looking at the medal count, the U.S. remains in third behind Norway and Italy.
Now to an unusual drama playing out here in New York on the Hudson River.
NYPD officers are often seen carrying out delicate rescues, but this one was different.
It's very rare that you're rescuing a bald eagle.
4 officers were conducting training exercises on the Hudson River when they spotted this injured bald eagle floating on the ice.
As we got closer, we thought it would take off. It never took off.
It looked like he was in distress. We could see that I think one of the claws was bloody. It had blood on his face. It looked very disheveled, so we figured we had to do something.
They reached out to wildlife authorities and got permission to act quickly.
They don't really train you for handling a bald eagle, but we made it work.
They approached gently with the boat and used a catch pole.
We looked it up and it said, try to cover its head. It keeps the stress down. And once we did that, it really didn't give us a hard time. I think it kind of knew that we were trying to help it. To rescue an eagle, it's pretty cool.
It's an American bald eagle, it's like a day or two after President's Day, so it made me feel pretty patriotic, and I just wanted to see him get well, get better.
Yeah, we all do. The eagle was taken to a sanctuary for testing.
Well, coming up, a mega deal when it comes to secondhand clothes.
Plus, a controversy over how Reese's peanut butter cups taste.
Time to check the pulse. We begin with a bitter battle over chocolate.
Yeah, so the grandson of the inventor of Reese's peanut butter cups claims Hershey is cutting corners on the recipe. In a letter, Brad Reese accuses Hershey of shifting to cheaper ingredients, replacing milk chocolate with compound coatings and using peanut cream instead of peanut butter.
And now Hershey has responded saying, "We make product recipe adjustments that allow us to make new shapes, sizes, and innovations while always protecting the essence of what makes Reese's unique and special, the perfect combination of chocolate and peanut butter." Now, customers get to weigh in. Next, new evidence that secondhand clothes are all the rage.
eBay just bought the secondhand clothing app Depop from Etsy. The price tag, $1.2 billion. eBay is hoping Depop can rejuvenate its brand. Okay, next, new speculation about which actor will be the next James Bond.
Oh yeah, reports are swirling online that Wuthering Heights and Frankenstein star Jacob Elordi is the guy. Nothing official yet, so stay tuned. Next, the dog that interrupted the Winter Games.
A cute boy. 2-year-old wolf dog managed to get onto the course during the women's cross-country skiing race. He even came down the stretch and crossed the finish line. Now, he's a local, so they returned him to his owner after stealing all the hearts of everyone there. Okay, here's another case of animal interruption.
This time, while its owner was weightlifting. This is Asher, sitting on his owner while she's bench pressing. He likes to grab onto the bar, and she calls Asher a wonderful and horrible training partner.
And finally, here's a good workout. Notre Dame's mascot had to do 435 push-ups during a lacrosse game.
The mascot does push-ups each time the team scores, performing a number equal to the score every time. And the team scored 29 times. That adds up. Top headlines next. Checking more top stories, billionaire Les Wexner says he was, quote, duped by his one-time financial advisor, Jeffrey Epstein. Wexner told a House committee he never witnessed or participated in any of Epstein's crimes.
Washington, D.C.'s mayor is asking President Trump to declare an emergency after the massive sewage spill in the Potomac River. Maryland governor says because the failed pipe is on federal land, local leaders should not have to ask for help.
A new lawsuit accuses Kansas City Chiefs receiver Rashee Rice of assaulting the mother of his children. She claims the abuse caused permanent injuries. He denies the charges.
Overseas, this group of skiers in Italy watched as an avalanche came down Mont Blanc. They were a safe distance away, but were close enough to get showered in snow.
Today's weather, storms from coast to coast. Heavy snow continues across the west, and severe storms possible later today from Illinois to Ohio.
And finally, nothing fishy here.
Just a Major League Baseball star who really loves fish. Here's Danny New.
Swing and a drive! Atlanta Braves infielder Ozzie Albies has multiple All-Star selections, a World Series ring, and as of this month, a classroom in Georgia taking care of his goldfish.
Attendance was so high that week. The kids were coming to school.
Good morning.
How are you?
How are you doing? Miss Jewel Strawberry's 5th grade class had written letters a few months ago to the Curacao native.
How many exotic monster fishes I have?
Who famously loves fish so much he and his wife Andrea own a 6,000-gallon tank. However, the students had only asked for his advice on what kind of fish to get for their class pet.
And he loves to set up
I didn't even think
tanks.
twice.
Yeah,
I
he's
didn't
like,
think twice.
you mean I can set up a tank? And I'm like, I mean, if you want to. He's like, yeah, I want to set up the tank.
Next thing you know, just before spring training, a two-time Silver Slugger was walking through the halls of Lockheed Elementary with one of his own goldfish in a bucket and a tank.
You did it so easy. Look at that.
Yes, Elijah.
Soon he was showing Elijah how to pour sand into the tank.
How warmer is it? You see how warmer it is?
Recruiting Laura to help him get the temperature right.
Go, keep going, keep going, keep going.
And walking Fernando through the proper technique for the bucket to tank transfer.
I actually had to pull him out of the class. And I said, hey, we got to go. The kids got to go.
In the weeks since, the students have sent Ozzy and Andrea these thank you letters for all their efforts and for coming to their classroom. However, Ozzy knows this ball game is far from over and is already talking about how to move the fish to a bigger tank in a few years.
All you do is transfer everything to the next tank. Done.
All the way up to 6,000.
I don't think 6,000 will fit in the class.
For the record, guys, the final 10 minutes of our interview was just Ozzy asking Miss Strawberry how the fish was doing and answering any more questions she may have about the tank. He really loves fish.
And you can tell. That's your Good Morning America first look.
Have a great day, everyone.